We have to do everything. But it's a really strange format in a group of 6 to play only 3 teams and 2 times the top seeded team. It's a really strange format. I'm trying, but I just don't understand it.
Reggae Boyz head coach Hal Grimson speaking on Friday after naming the Reggae Boyz squad for September's CONCACAF Nations League matches against Honduras on the 8th and Haiti on the 12th. Here's a look at the squad, which has 4 changes from the unit that competed at the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Andre Blake, Jamali Waite and Boyce Clark, the goalkeepers. The defenders, Damian Lowe, Tavon Grace, one of those new introductions into the squad, Ethan Pinnock and Amari Bell, Deshaun Bernard, Dexter Lembikisa, the man whose name gave the commentators lots of issues during the Gold Cup. Adrian Mariappa returns his place, and Greg Lee comes into the setup as well, as does the midfielder Casey Palmer, who has played 1 game for the Reggae Boyz. That was back in 2021. Joel Latiwadir, Daniel Johnson, Kevin Lambert, Bobby Reed, and up front Leon Bailey, Michael Antonia, Damari Gray, Dejon Richards, Corey Burke, Shamar Nicholson, and the 4th new addition from the Gold Cup squad, Ronaldo Cephas, who is playing his club football in Turkey at the moment, Lance. 4 new invitees to this Reggae Boyz setup. The coach, Hal Grimson, pointing out that they were relatively happy with what they got from the unit in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. And so for the 2 Nations League matches, they wanted to, for the most part, remain with those players, but they also wanted the opportunity to look at a few others.
Which is a good sign and a good approach, because I think one of the issues that the Jamaica Reggae Boyz faced when they were going for World Cup qualifying the last cycle was that there were too many changes to the roster, and we hardly saw a sequence of a similar lineup going into competition, which had, was fraught with issues with regard to things like team chemistry and so on. So if they had a decent CONCACAF Gold Cup outing, and a couple of months after they're ready now for Nations League football, and the squad looks pretty similar with the exception of some new players coming in, I quite like that look as the team heads towards the World Cup qualifying next year.
Yeah, importantly, Kamar Taxi Lawrence, Jonathan Russell, Kahim Paris, and Javane Brown, the 4 left out from the CONCACAF Gold Cup squad. And Hal Grimson wanted to point out that it wasn't because of a lack of quality performance, but they wanted an opportunity to see the 4 players that they have drafted into the squad. Also importantly, Corey Burke has some injury concerns, and if he's unable to take up his place in the squad, then Demaria Phillips will be the man who replaces him for the matches on the 8th and on the 12th in CONCACAF Nations League. Also coming out of that press conference today, the 8th of September, that's next week Friday, so we are a week away from that. Damari Gray will arrive in Jamaica as early as Saturday. Remember, at the moment, he is pretty much out of a club. We had heard that he would be moving to the Saudi League. Apparently, that deal has fallen through, and they are working through next steps for him at this stage. But he will be in the island on Saturday, and he will get an opportunity to work one-on-one with the coaching staff, and I think that has to be a good sign.
Yeah, and I quite like the fact that the potency of the Jamaican attacking team at the CONCACAF Gold Cup was highly celebrated by a lot of experts looking on, and the roster looking very impressive up front. And we see Ronaldo Cephas now coming in. He had been playing in North Macedonia and scored a lot of goals there for Shkoopy. Now he is playing in the Turkey League One, which is a move I thought was the result of them being impressed by what they saw from him in the UEFA conference qualifying. I think he scored 4 goals in one of the games there, and very soon after that we heard about this transfer. So Cephas has so much pace. He's very fast. I remember doing a Jamaica Premier League season when the former Jamaica captain, Rudolph Austin, who had captained Leeds some time ago, spoke very, very highly of Cephas. He told us that Cephas is a difficult player to contend with as a central defender or as any defensive player. Cephas comes running at you and he's a lot of work. So I'm very happy to see Cephas getting an opportunity at the international level and to rub shoulders with men who are already elite players on the attacking front, like Michael Antonio and Leon Bailey and Demarai Gray.
Yeah, I took note of comments from Coach Hal Grimson at the press conference today, where he said that it was the assistant coach, Merron Gordon, who pushed for the inclusion of Cephas in this team. In fact, he said that because of Merron Gordon, he looked at Ronaldo Cephas a lot more than he otherwise would have.
Yes.
And then he went as far as to say that what Cephas brings probably already exists in the setup,
yes,
but it's still an opportunity to see how he compares with what is already there. I usually listen very carefully, Lance, when Coach Hal Grimson speaks, because I personally believe that when he comes to a press conference and he speaks, he's usually telling us something. I'm just wondering what exactly he's telling us with those Ronaldo Cephas comments. I hope not, but I'm thinking to myself, is it that he's not quite sold on him just yet? But at least he's given him this opportunity to be part of the squad. He will get to work with him closely, and then we'll see what comes out of that. But as you pointed out, a quality player who can add to this team.
And it's interesting that Hal Grimson would have said that, because I understand part of what he's saying, because I don't think the front end of the Jamaica team at the moment is lacking pace.
Yes.
Gray and Antonio and Bailey have good speed, all of them.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of them have the foot speed that Ronaldo Cephas has. I think they may be more technically gifted as ball players than Cephas, but raw foot speed, I don't think any of them are as fast as Cephas. And if you have a player on your team in an attacking role that can run past defenders, and the defenders can't keep pace with that player, and that player has the ability to finish in the box, I think you have the tools for a prolific goal scorer. And I think Cephas represents that scope as a front man.
Yeah, one of the criticisms of the Reggae Boyz at the CONCACAF Gold Cup this summer was the lack of a creative player in the middle of the park. And apparently this Casey Palmer fellow, who has played one game for Jamaica, that was back in 2021. Remember that team that was put together in 2 days? Maybe I'm exaggerating it, but they lost 4-1 to the United States of America. He was involved in that match in March 2021. 26 years old now, and apparently was compared to Ravel Morrison. Well, not apparently. Coach Hal Grimson compared him to a Ravel Morrison type player. Very good on the ball, is what the coach said. And apparently maybe he is the one that they're looking at to add that type of creativity in the middle of the park that many felt was lacking during the CONCACAF Gold Cup.
Yeah, well, he was at Swansea City on loan and had played more recently at Coventry.
Yes.
And I know that he's a high-quality player. Was a part of the England setup in the under-17s and under-20s. So he obviously is a player with background of quality. But if it is that he has that creativity and the kind of vision that we've not seen in a Jamaica Reggae Boyz squad for a long time, I think he can only benefit the team. But let's see what he does. Because
or at least as good as we got from Ravel Morrison.
Yes. But Ravel's pace sort of impeded the impact that he could have on the team, because he's not a very speedy player.
Or lack of pace.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, yeah. But he is high quality, there's no question about it. Yes. Ravel Morrison on the ball, and his ball handling skills and his vision, superior to a lot of what we have seen coming out of the Reggae Boyz squad for over a decade now. So it's just that his pace sometimes shows up when a game is hot and a game is robust. So if Casey Palmer has some of those attributes that Ravel probably doesn't have, I think it can benefit the team. But I'm quite keen on seeing what Hal Grimson does here with this squad, because I think Hal Grimson has a good plan for this Reggae Boyz squad.
Yes.
And the next few months will be critical in playing that out.
Yeah, I think he has very good plans as well, the entire coaching staff. In my opinion, they seem to know what they're doing. I think so often in the Caribbean, we don't like to give coaches time to understand all the players that they have around them. And for the players as well to be in sync with what the coaches want them to do and so on. It takes time. One of the points that Hal Grimson made today is that in many areas, in fact in too many areas, Jamaica is far behind many of the teams we're going up against in what we're trying to achieve, and that is to get to the next World Cup. Of course, this Nations League campaign, Lance, is extremely important as well, because next year 6 teams from CONCACAF qualify for the Copa America. And of course, that is a majestic opportunity to be playing high-level football against quality teams. So the Nations League is extremely important. It starts at the National Stadium in Kingston on September 8th. That match against Honduras, and then on the 12th, that game will be against Haiti. So very, very important matches for the Reggae Boyz.
A lot of Caribbean football pundits are still not sold completely on the Nations League. A lot of people still miss the Caribbean Cup as it was before. Even Angus Eve, the Trinidad and Tobago coach, has told me a few times that he thinks the Caribbean needs the CFU Caribbean Cup. So not everyone is sold on the Nations League, but we see everyone getting ready for it. The Trinidad and Tobago coach Eve naming a 40-man provisional squad in the past couple of days, and the Bahamas naming their squad in the past couple of days as well. So CFU teams are getting ready for the Nations League.
Break time on the Sports Mag Zone. We'll go back with more.